Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to another AMA for the Kaya Mini Dapps Online. I can't believe that we're already on number 9. These are certainly flying by. If this is your first one, welcome. If you've been following along, thanks for sticking with us. It's been awesome watching these sessions grow. I'm Sean, the community lead here at Kaya, and I'll be your host today. My job is pretty simple: keep things flowing, spotlight the builders, and make sure we all have a good time. Now, real quick context before we jump in. Each of these projects joining us today has been selected as to be part of our May 2025 mini Dapp lineup. This means that they'll be launching or have already launched inside Line. Yes, the Line, Asia's favorite messenger with over 250 million users across places like Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and Thailand. It's a huge deal, and these builders earn their spot. Joining me on the panel today are Ab, project leader for Cosmic Bomber Arcade, Alex, COO of Larva Survival, Adi, developer of Love Terminal, and Joe, head of UA for Merch Pals. Big welcome to all of you, and thanks for being here. Now, online AMAs are great, but let's be honest, sometimes the Q&A part needs a little nudge. So yes, as usual, we have a small community giveaway lined up. So here's the deal. 3 winners will get 100 Kai each. To enter, three simple steps. 1, drop your question in the live chat. 2, start with for so-and-so if your question is for a specific speaker, or keep it general for the full panel. Lastly, 3rd, we'll pick our favorite 3 towards the end if we've got time. And if your question does get picked, DM at Kaya Chain within a week to claim your reward. Our X account is in the bottom corner, in maybe that side. Yes. If you wait a month, yeah, that ship will have sailed. All right. Now that we've got the fun stuff out the way, let's get into it. You guys probably know how this goes. We'll kick things off with some quick intros. Give us your name, role, and a one-liner about your project. Let's start off with Ab from Cosmic Bomber K, and then we'll roll down the list.
Cool. Hey, excited to be here. My name's Ab, and I'm the project lead for Cosmic Bomber K. We're effectively working under Mochaverse and Animocha brands, and working really closely with the game team in Korea. So Cosmic Bomber K is our sort of take on Bomberman inspired game. So if you're familiar with Bomberman, or even the popular title Crazy Arcade from way back before, it's our take on this and into the Web3 world of it. So yeah, excited to meet everyone here and hear more about the other dApps too.
All right, thank you, Ab. Next up, let's go with Alex from Larva Survival.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm the PD of Lava Survivors. We developed Lava Survivor for 1 year, and finally we launched our games 3 weeks ago. There were many difficulties, but so we overcome, and finally, so we can see better the metrics nowadays. So I'm expected a lot for our games achieve our goals.
All right, thank you. Next up, Adi from Love Terminal.
Hey guys, I'm Adi, chief dev for Love Terminal. So Love Terminal, what we've built is essentially an AI-driven town management game. It's comparable in spirit to real-time Stardew Valley, if you will, but it's architected with intelligent agents, and we've deployed on Kaya. It's accessible via Line 2, and we do everything through AI powered NPCs for having quite interesting player interactions, and we're focused on promoting experimentation with diverse strategies to actually maximize profit. So we try to interweave these things in a really financially sustainable fashion. um, but yeah, no, I mean, we obviously want to make sure that players are engaging in playful social mechanics, and yeah, you can steal from friends' farms. But at its core, what we've built is a structured environment for stimulated interpersonal dynamics, where every interaction is unique, built on contextual logic, and it's not just going to be it's not going to feel like just a looping experience over and over again. So this is a new design paradigm, and players can therefore be trained in negotiation, adaptive thinking, and strategic social behavior. So we're quite proud of what we built, and we think it's going to represent a market shift from content delivery to the orchestration of more dynamic behavioral systems. That's a little bit about us. Thank you.
All right, I'm sure we'll learn a lot more about these projects as this AMA goes along. Lastly, Joe, Merch Pals.
Sure, thank you, Sean. Hey everyone, my name is Joe. So basically, I lead the user acquisition for Merge Pals, and we're technically from Mirai Labs. Some of you guys might be familiar with our other titles like Pagaxi and Paytopia. We've been around Web3 space for a while now, but these days with Merge Pals, we're just trying to focus on building something more accessible for everyone. Essentially a mobile-first game that can scale to real audiences outside of Web3 space. So of course, especially through platform line. Yeah, excited to be here, and happy to connect with other builders as well in the ecosystem. Thanks.
Yeah, excited to have all of you guys here with us. Okay, now let's go on to the meat of everything, what everyone's here for, right? The actual questions, right? So I think we'll just go down the list again as usual. Ab, you're up first. Can you give us the elevator pitch for your mini app, and what problem are you solving, or I guess fun are you creating?
Yeah, sure. So one-liner pitch, I guess Cosmic Bomber is a Bomberman-inspired game. Players drop into quick real-time sessions, and they do quick, intense battles. Players can grab a variety of items to level the playing field, and we're very focused on, players collecting heroes, earning trophies, and climbing the ranks, and focusing a lot on social gameplay. In terms of what problems or fun that we're trying to solve is that really a lot of the games right now in the Dapp market is quite solo gameplays, and we're really keen to bring back multiplayer gameplay, social gameplay. How can we get people to be very casual yet competitive way? So our game is really focused on PvP right now, but in a fun way, so that it's a bit less stressful. Though we will introduce PvE later and more modes, so people and friends can play together in more, I guess, fun and chaotic ways. But no, I think through Cosmic Bomber K, we're also wanting to use our connected network on Web3 through multiple partners and see how we can introduce more types of rewards to our audience and players through Kaya.
All right, thank you for this. Sorry, anything? Sorry, okay, cool. Next up, Alex. Can you give us the elevator pitch for merch? For
Okay.
Alex is for Larva Survival. Sorry, so
Okay.
many
You're right.
names here. Yeah.
Yes. Our game, Lava Survivor, isn't just another Web3 game. Most early NFT games offers little real utility, just basic collectibles. In contrast, Lava Survivor is building an NFT system with true Web3 principles. It's designed to be useful both in game and across blockchain services. While integration isn't live yet, updates are in development to make them central to gameplay and progression. Beyond the blockchain, Lava Survivor also reinvents the survival genre. Many survivor games feels repetitive, so we've added idle growth and event-based mini games to reduce fatigue and boost long-term fun. It's easy to play, but offers real character development. Our goal is very simple: just a casual game and reward and truly Web3 native games. Thank you.
Right. Did I ask you the second question about what problem you're trying to solve?
Yes.
Alex? Okay, cool. Thanks. Okay, so next up we have Adi from Larva Terminal. Can you give us an elevator pitch for your mini Dapp and what problem are you solving or fun are you creating?
Sure thing. Yeah. I alluded a little bit to this during the original intro. May have been a little bit longer. My apologies. But yeah, I'll elaborate a little bit more on why it's quite philosophically compelling, I'd say. So first off, work on the basis that this is sort of like a real-time Stardew Valley, right? It's what I said. That's one. Now, if you move forward and realize that it's being architected with intelligent agents that are all deployed on chain, that is quite compelling, and it gives us a route to incorporating AI human interactions that are verifiable, and also therefore thereby having them integrated into more Web3 ethos as well. In terms of the game itself, that'll correlate from even traditional, kind of mechanics. Like for us, we allow people to buy land or grow crops, harvest resources, or just like I said before, you can negotiate with AI-powered NPCs to sell their produce. Um, so what we're really doing is that we're promoting the experimentation, right? With diverse strategies, but it's not just from the human side. More like it works as a cohesive ecosystem, as sort of like a nested free market, and that's an experiment that is quite interesting. Um, like I said, yeah, you can also sort of investigate how even social mechanics come into play, which is why one of the things I mentioned was stealing from other friends' farms. Um, I can imagine that someone might want to do an experiment on this, sort of like DayZ. Academics are going to see how do social mechanics actually change a world. But we've done all this in such a way that it doesn't feel too constrained or unilateral or a linear track mind. It is all about decentralized contextual logic, on a sector by sector level, individual level, and then how that correlates to a population effect. So, the product is not simply for entertainment. Obviously, that's the form it takes, but it's a model as well for experiential learning within simulated microeconomies. And that's why it's so compelling. And the fact that we've been able to do so, not just in terms of decentralized mechanics, but also the way that if we zoom out, a decentralized economic paradigm can be actually manifested well. Of course, everyone has been trying to execute Web3 games sustainably for a while. We think that we've got a really good touch on that. So that's a bit why, like I said, it's quite philosophically compelling.
All right. Interesting stuff coming from Love Terminal there. The philosophical part, I think, is quite good. Lastly, Joe, can you give us the elevator pitch for Merch Pals and what problem you are solving or fun you are creating?
Sure. So, just very quickly on the background, Mush Pals essentially is a casual on-chain game where players collect and basically level up creatures where we call pals, right? So think Pokemon, and ultimately send them on quests to earn rewards. So at first glance, it feels a little bit like a very simple mobile merge game. But under the surface, we're trying to build a very deep strategy, resource management, and ownership kind of game. So when it comes to the challenges we're trying to fix here, essentially, how do we position merge pals in a way where players don't need to know it's Web3 to enjoy it, right? So we want players coming from all types of background from Web 2 as well to enjoy this game, right? And for those people who want to go deeper, they'll be able to find an asset driven economy in a game, as well as a progression that really matters for people who actually cares about that kind of things in a game. When it comes to metrics, we're currently sitting at pretty good number. We're having 3 million total users right now, about 700,000 in-game transactions. Monthly active user is at about 250,000. So I'm pretty happy to say we're in a very good position right now. Thank you.
I was on mute. Sorry about that. It's great stuff to hear from Merch Pals. All right, next question. Let's go back to Ab. With over 71 mini dapps already live, what gap or new experience are you bringing to the ecosystem?
Yeah, I think similar to what I was mentioning earlier is that we're leveraging our kind of bigger network or ecosystem of partners that we already have, and through this, how can we introduce those partners through line or Kaya to our users? So not just only rewarding what Cosmic Bomber has to offer, but what our connected partners can give through their tokens or through their actual offline rewards as well. So the main focus of Cosmic Bomber is, if you play, is you can play quick battles, earn or lose trophies based on your performance. And earning trophies really puts you up on the rank, or you can drop ranks, but based on where you are on the rank, really entitles you to what partner rewards access you have in the future. So if you're really high up, you'll be very rewarded versus if you haven't been engaging too much and you haven't been getting too many trophies. But I think that's where we want the experience for Cosmos K players to be very rewarding for having achieved your status that you have. And I think the longer term picture is how can we, maybe a couple of months down is we'll have a series of these games, and we want to ideally share the progression that you make in Cosmic Bomber K across these other dApps as well.
All right, cool stuff. Next up, let's go with Alex. With over 71 mini dApps already live, what gap or new experience are you bringing to the ecosystem for Larva Survival?
Yeah, we have not experienced a lot regarding Web3 games, so it was not easy. Lava Survivor is made for casual players and Web3 newcomers. Line with Kaya was the perfect choice to us. It makes wallet, NFTs, and rewards simple for everyone. Plus, Lava is hugely popular in Japan, Taiwan, Thailand, and Indonesia, all strong line regions. This gives us a great match between platforms and audience. This is very big chance for us. So that's why we started, and now we are engaging a lot, even it's hard. There are many kinds of big updates on the way. So first one is NFT integrations. NFTs will boost gameplay, affecting growth and skill and progress. And next one is NFT staking. Stake Lava NFTs to earn rewards and unlock upgrades. New chapters, fresh maps, tougher enemies, and deeper survivor challenges. Last one is idle mode upgrade. So more events and choices and strategies, and less grind and more fun. This is our strong point, but still we are engaging a lot for this one. Thank you.
Hey, Adi from Love Terminal. What new gap or new experiences is Love Terminal bringing to the ecosystem?
Yeah. Well, Love Terminal introduces, a distinct gameplay category into the Kai ecosystem, but and we're doing that through emphasizing casual strategy with the AI depth. So for us, there's a few things. For one, we're culturally tailored for Asian markets as well, particularly Japan and Korea, where, as actually I mentioned before, right, Line is going to be an ubiquitous communication tool for this, so we're embedded there. The game style emphasizes, colorful culture and community and competition, making it socially embedded experience rather than just a standalone interface. And unlike a lot of dApps that are centered around DeFi instruments or static collectibles, Love Terminal will integrate blockchain infrastructure with the AI agent dynamics, as I had mentioned before. So the resulting gameplay would be inherently unpredictable and shaped by a player AI context. So that's quite important distinguishing factor we would feel. For example, an NPC might recall your previous trades and adjust their negotiation styles accordingly. And that would create a replayable experience, right? That resists optimization and instead rewards creativity and memory management. So, as alluded to, philosophically, this would be a deviation from closed system loops, right? Rather than designing for really just one universal player journey and a linear track mind, as I suggested, it really architects a combinatorial system of encounters. So the developer role becomes more of a curator rather than a prescriptor. And in business terms, that would allow for sustained retention and it should increase session variation and therefore present more robust pathways for monetization based on behaviors.
Okay, thank you, Adi. Lastly, Joe, can you tell us a bit more about what gap on your experience is Merch Pals bringing to the ecosystem?
Sure. Hope I sound okay right now in terms of my volume. But yeah, when it comes to the gap that we're trying to fill with merge pals here, I think ultimately the first thing we see in the market or in the industry right now is most mini dApps either they go really hard on a hype or and then they fade really quickly, or they lean purely on speculation and stay with very little staying power or retention, right? So what we're trying to do with Merge Power is essentially try to build something that players ultimately want to stay in, right? So where there's progression, there's strategy, and most importantly with the pals, a sense of ownership in their collection, right? So we want players to feel proud with what they are trying to build here. Whether it's a strong power lineup, climbing the gachapon leaderboard, or just simply unlocking the rare pals, right? So there's value in that journey, and we find that really effective in keeping our players in the game. So we're trying to design this system to make it really visible and meaningful. The goal is ultimately to create an experience where people don't just chase rewards. They actually care about their accounts in merge pals, and they pay attention in where they stand in the community. At the same time, we also, of course, social driven growth is extremely important for our game. So we came up with like a really cool referral system where we also reward players passively through passive income, of course, as they invite their friends. And it's multi-layered, so their friends can invite more friends, and their friends can invite more friends, and ultimately everyone gets paid passively. So this ultimately benefits everyone, including ourselves. And I think this is extremely important when it comes to, building a community that sustains itself. That's it.
I was just trying to find my unmute button there. All right, thank you, Joe. Next up, back to Ab. I guess. Why did you choose to build online via Kaya?
Hey, yeah, I think it made a lot of sense for us. The type of game that we have as well, as I mentioned, is very inspired from a classic game called Crazy Arcade, which was very dominant in Asia, the Asian market, and Line Kaya, they're with the strong Asian market presence with Japan, Taiwan, Thailand, even Korea. We've seen some great engagement from these markets already. So we really feel like the type of game that we're bringing through Line is going to resonate really well with those markets. And from our day one launch, we've seen really good engagement already from Vietnam and Japan specifically, especially with the KOL campaigns that we've been doing. We've been getting a lot of great feedback from it. And then on top of that, actually, like one step before our launch and everything, but even just the process of, working with Kaya to, get our game launched, it really sold us on the approach that Lion and Kaya has been taking to create a very quality game market. So again, we're also excited to be a part of that quality game market and be more accessible to our players.
Okay, good to see that Cosmic Bomber K did to come on board to Kaya the decision making. Okay, let's go down the list again, Alex. Why did Larva Survival choose to build online via Kaya? Alex? Oh yeah, okay.
Wait a minute. Yes. Because we choose to launch online via Kaya because it offers the best environment to introduce Web3 to everyone users without requiring any prior blockchain knowledge. The Kaya ecosystem lowers the barrier to entry by simplifying wallet setup, NFT handling, and rewards system, which align perfectly with our goal of making Web3 gaming approachable and enjoyable. In addition, Larva is a globally beloved animated in the world. So this synergy between content and community gives us Larva Survivor a powerful foundation for growth. That's why we chose Mini the app with Kaya. Thank you.
Hey, cool. All right, let's go with Adi. Any upcoming integrations, reward systems, or campaigns that users should keep an eye on for Love Terminal?
Yeah. So we recently concluded our first Kaya incentive program, actually, and we're preparing to launch the second phase. So, this will introduce expanded reward mechanisms for players who do engage in high effort gameplay. So that would include, the town building and strategic trading. So the more and more they exploit those mechanics, the more the returns. But the incentive structure will also include token-based rewards, of course. So giving players tangible value for gameplay decisions. We will also be introducing PvP leaderboards and challenge mechanics. So that would allow for asynchronous friend-based competitions too, which is pretty cool. As you can see, we're trying to emulate the real world as much as possible. Planned community events would also occur, including town design contests and AI-driven quest lines. So that can offer things like rare items or exclusive rewards, seasonal or otherwise. And we're planning on designing these to incentivize repeat engagement, of course, right? That's what we want to make sure people can get stale of mind in negotiating amongst themselves, or even just interacting with a inherently stale seasonal reward system on its own. So we're going to be hybridizing it both and have things regularly updated and diversified. So this way we can reward both individual creativity and social collaboration in tandem. So the design of these systems would reflect what I would say an evolution in tokenomics. The fundamentals are the same, but instead of compensating activity alone, we are of course modeling an economy, right? And that would provide ingenuity and social signaling. So the application is rather novel. And we would plan to realign the value proposition toward expressive gameplay and identity construction rather than just pursuing the same premeditated facets. And this would in turn increase the richness of that ecosystem. For developers, this would introduce an opportunity to build systems of layered capital. So you would have your own domains in which you can try and exploit tokenomics and focus on things such as reputation, creativity, or indeed even collaboration, instead of just optimizing solely for extractive metrics.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Adi. Next up, Joe, are there any upcoming integrations, reward systems, or campaigns users should keep an eye on for Merge Pals?
Sure, yeah, there are a few big ones going live right now, as well as soon. One is a tournament where we call Summoner's War in Merge Pals. So essentially, it's all about gacha draws. The more you roll, the higher you climb on the leaderboard, and we basically reward the top players at the end of the snapshot to win Kaya rewards, right? So we're also running a pretty aggressive cashback campaign right now on essentially the IAPs in game. Basically thanking them for their support in the game. It's a great way for us to great way for players to double down during all the events. And lastly, I think when we talk about collecting companions and pals, just like Pokemon, how can we not bring up NFTs, right? So ultimately, this is the most exciting thing that we are rolling out in the next quarter. Basically, we are working on introducing a set of limited pals as NFTs, players that can actually own them, with exclusive gameplay perks basically tied in. It's going to be a very fun way for us to reward the collector side of our target audiences, as well as give our players a little bit more pride in what they have got in Merge Pals. Thank you.
All right, exciting stuff coming up from, or or like the community can go and participate in right now from both Love Terminal and Merch Pals. So if right after this AMA, you guys should go and check out those few games. But yeah, I mean all the games here actually. But yeah, okay. So back to Ab and Cosmic Bomber K. Yes. So, any lessons that you've picked up from other dApps that have launched before you, and are you collaborating with any existing mini dApps or ecosystem partners?
No, I mean we love seeing the close collaboration between the dApps currently, or at least in the earlier waves, and hopefully with the dApps here in this chat, we can do a connect after this and collaborate as well. But yeah, we've been talking with a few dApps, and hopefully we still consider ourselves in sort of soft launch, and giving players a chance to get familiar with the game, strategize their own play style based on the characters or heroes that they're using. But after the soft launch, we do have a big update coming in the end of May, which we introduce more missions, leaderboards, a hero pass, so that when you start playing the game, you can earn points towards unlocking new heroes. And beyond that, we will also have sort of NFT costumes, so players can trade between that, and these NFTs will be also costumes inspired by our partners, and boss modes, stage modes, which include sort of PvE game modes instead of just PvP. But no, I think with those in our kind of inventory of features that we are going to introduce, doing sort of NFT costumes inspired by partners could also be NFT costumes that our characters can wear inspired by fellow dApps. And then that's how we could do a bit more cross collaboration in game, on top of doing social collaborations as well.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that you want to collaborate with all the mini dApps here, because a few of the actual panel AMAs that we've done before, they've actually got on to actually collaborate further. Like I think our very first AMA we did, it had 3 different Goblin projects on, and all of them did collaborations with each other. And then some of them already had I think previously on, because they were on Ton, right? So they had their own collaborations there, and they just brought them over to the Kaya mini dApp version. So yeah, super exciting. I do hope that, well, I mean, I think that all these projects here can probably work together in some form of collaboration. So I do hope that you guys end up working on something together. I think it'll be very poetic, because there've been many iterations of this. I think it's, as I mentioned, this is our 9th one. So there's been very many iterations. I think it's been probably 8 different collaborations based off this. And obviously you have collaborations between all 5 of you, so that's 25 collaborations, so that's super fun. Right? Yeah, so
Nice.
cool.
I'm all for it.
Yes.
Let's be the 9th one.
Yep. Okay, cool. Next up, Alex, any lessons that Larva Survival has picked up from the other dApps that have launched before you, and are you collaborating with any existing mini dApps or ecosystem partners?
One of the biggest lessons we've learned from many apps is the importance of having a clear reward structure and player motivations. Casual fun alone is not enough. Players need meaningful goals, such as daily missions, progress tracking, and social incentive like friend invites to keep coming back consistently. While we haven't yet launched formal collaborations with other mini apps, we are actively exploring features integration, such as NFT cross utility, shared missions, or item exchanges that can enhance the ecosystem and deepen users' engagement across games. One of the most surprising things is there are so fast line users picked up Web3 games. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Right. Adi, are there any lessons that you've picked up from other dApps that have launched before you, and are you collaborating with any existing mini dApps or ecosystem partners?
Yeah. First, let me say that, of course, we would be very happy to collaborate forward, man. So, yeah, definitely everyone here should reach out and try and establish some relationships. To answer the question, yeah, one of the clearest takeaways that we've had from existing mini apps is that simplified onboarding and rapid immersion are essential for ease of retention. I think in the past, a lot of things have been way too gimmicky. Indeed, they were proof of concepts and the rise of functionalized Web3 enterprise that wasn't just DeFi, and they didn't necessarily work, but they did carry some iconicism around them, which is why they still maintained value. Um, but for us now, we're in a very different era, and so we optimized Love Terminal's entry flow to eliminate unnecessary blockchain complexity. Um, the objective was to transition users from app launch to strategic interaction within a few seconds. So we also integrated PvP leaderboards, of course, and we did that early to establish persistent goals and drive competition from the outset. Uh, our collaboration with Infinity Ground, however, has been a major technical advantage. So Infinity Ground's AI generating coding platform really increased our prototyping velocity. So that's something that I'd actually mentioned to a lot. The reason I say this, especially from an academic context, is that, so I alluded, as I mentioned before, there was a lot of gimmicky projects that were out there. They were doing their best, but now we're standing on the shoulders of giants. And then you ended up with people who were developing middleware and fundamental infrastructures upon which you can build apps, including gaming. But when Infinity Ground came up, it was very valuable for us. Not a wanton shill here, because what we've done with them, and especially in our recent phases, that they have an agentic IDE platform. So there's AI assisted coding, and what it does, it works on existing pre-vetted known to work scripts. So what happens is that you streamline the optimization process and the modification process of applications, because they already work, and that provides a nice ground base from which the AI can iteratively implement your intents. So that was quite interesting. And that also aligns with our broader development philosophy at Love Terminal, right? Which is to treat iteration speed as a function of both tooling and feedback infrastructure. So in addition, we are coordinating with other Kaya Dapps, sorry, for cross-project events and sharing reward mechanics. So like I said before, let's definitely commune after this AMA on that, guys. And yeah, that will allow us to share our tested economies as well. And inter-DApp asset portability and cross-narrative continuity is really cool. So once you got one, and I said this sort of jargon before, once you got one nested free market, the next thing you do is that you expand, right? You go from microeconomics, as I said before, to now more macroeconomic trend. That's sort of the inevitability, and it's really cool. So the implication here is very structural, right? That as development environments become increasingly modular, collaboration becomes not just strategy but requirement, and developer ecosystems that share primitives and APIs are more likely to compound value too. So in this light, we would view each DApp not as just an endpoint, but as a contributor to distributed gameplay fabric. And that's me really telling you, what are the lessons we've learned when you look at it academically and think about how those concepts manifested. Now, where are we going really? What is the future going to look like? A lot of these things advised our philosophical premise about what new things we could create, not just what problems that we've seen in the past that we needed to fix.
Right, excellent insights from Adi. I think it's quite unique, your take on the whole, mini debt structure and the business as a whole. I think it's something that I really do appreciate, something a bit different as well. So yeah, cool. All right, so Joe, any lessons from Merge Pals that you've picked up from the other dApps that have launched before you, and are you currently collaborating with any existing mini dApp or ecosystem partners?
Sure, yeah. So, mine's a pretty simple one. Obviously, one key lesson for us in Merge Pals was that smart partnerships can actually outperform big ad budgets, right? So, especially early on with limited resources, we focus on community-led acquisition basically, and try to collab with other mini dApps like Boinkers, who is actually one of our closest friends. Since we shared like a similar kind of players across both games, they are essentially social, active, actually present in game across multiple platform. This cross promo, cross marketing actually gave us quality users who were already primed to engage, right? It wasn't just about exposure, it was about, building connections between two high intent communities. So, one side we're trying to save budget, we're able to save budget, and at the same time, we're able to bring in the highest quality of users. And I think another important lessons as well is, I'm sure everyone knows this, essentially don't underbuild your launch. We saw a lot of early dApps struggle with retention, essentially because just wasn't enough to do, right, in the game. So with Merge Pals, we made sure to launch with many things to do since day one, right? So daily quests, gachas, mini games, daily new features as well, and real progression from day one. This way, we want to make sure that community and players they feel like it's a world that they can actually come back to every single day. Some of the key metrics that we pay attention to, in the first month or two, are ultimately the retention rate and not just the total number of users. So we had our eyes on all of these numbers in the first couple of months, and good things will come afterwards.
Okay, cool. And I think this is the last question before we go into the Q&A. So just keep that in mind. Back to Ab. What's the most exciting or unexpected part of building in the Minidapp ecosystem so far for Cosmic Bomber K?
The most exciting part about building the Dapp ecosystem was actually how smooth everything was. Smooth in terms of integrating our game into the Dapp Portal, and how many types of mission rewards there were to offer, and with the recent USDT mission type as well, we're trying to jump into that. But it makes it really feel like the experience is seamless to integrate, but also for our players to seamlessly find and discover our game and onboard as well. So I thought that was pretty exciting and unexpected compared to your traditional Web3 game where onboarding could be an obstacle, right? So it felt very an easier approach for Web 2 players to get familiar with Web 3 kind of game mechanics.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to the SDK as a whole, isn't it? Like we made it
Yeah.
as simple as it to onboard and stuff. I think that's something that and especially with the whole like mini dApps and everything, we have fee delegation and Kaya as well, which makes it super easy for non-crypto users because I think one of the biggest challenges that onboarding Web2 players is, I want to start playing a game, but I need to get a bit of this random I mean, it's for Kaya, it's Kaya, right? I need to get a bit of Kaya, then they have to go find a dex, they have to go do this, do that with Kaya. It's all with Line and Kaya. It's all you can prepay the gas. It's amazing. You don't have to worry about it. It's faster to onboard them as well because everything is built into Line. There is no wallet. There's no like seed phrase. There's nothing. It's just sign with your Line ID or connect your OKX wallet. Both are perfectly fine, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think what we've seen in the metrics as well, there's a faster time to fun. So a person discovering the game and entering and just a smaller funnel for them to, or smaller, less obstacles in their way, less barrier to entry.
Exactly. All right, thank you, Ab. Next up, Alex. What's been the most exciting part or unexpected part in building Lava Survival in the mini Dapp ecosystem so far?
So during our development, so one of the most surprising discoveries was how quickly Line users adapted to Web3 with ecosystem. We found that even non-crypto users could interact with NFTs and rewards easily. So that's why I'm thinking that really I'm appreciate in the simplicity of the Kaya environments. Also, Minidia framework is surprisingly well suited for short lesson and short session, high retention game loops. Even though our Lava Survivors metrics is not much that good, but we are sure that so we can make the better metrics in the futures. And in this ecosystem, so it encourages us to design tighter gameplay cycles with meaningful rewards. It's offering new insights that differ from in traditional Web2 game developments. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Alex. And I think that also speaks to how fast Kaya is as a whole,
Yeah.
right? Like everything is within like what 1 second response time. Like it's insane. Like obviously me gaming Kaya, like sometimes I bridge tokens to other chains, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to wait 10 minutes for this transaction. I think coming from Kaya, we've been so spoiled by this really fast transaction times. I'm like, I'm bridging to another chain. I'm like, because you gotta transfer your assets around, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this bridge, why is it 10 minutes? And it's like, the uneasiness of whether it's going to go through, and obviously it's going to go through, but it's the uneasiness, oh, I have to wait this long, really? So I think that's something that Kaya, I mean, it's not necessarily unique anymore in this space because everyone is like 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. But I think it's something that the mini dApps can definitely take advantage of, how quick everything is from connecting your wallet to creating the wallet to connecting the wallet to the app, and just even if you're transacting tokens, transferring from my external wallet into it, super quick as well. You don't need to wait 10 minutes. You don't need to wait like I think Bitcoin's like an hour, but that's Bitcoin. So yeah, cool. Yeah, I think that really speaks testament for like how fast everything is and how quick in terms of the onboarding experience for non-Web3 native users, right? All right, cool. So next up, Adi, can you tell us what the most exciting or unexpected part of building Love Terminal on the mini Dapp ecosystem is so far?
Yeah. So I would say that the most exciting outcome for us has been the level of emergent behavior from players. That was quite happy to see. In under 3 weeks, we surpassed about 50,000 users. So players began creating unanticipated strategies as well. I mean, of course, we were trying to prepare for that, but even we were surprised. They're ranging from charismatic manipulation of AI agents themselves to multi-account resource arbitrage. Some people are smart, right? Some users, for example, they flatter NPCs to lower the prices, and others would apply combative bargaining. The AI responded accordingly, and that produced a negotiation landscape that was strategic and also humorous. But yeah, this level of interaction wasn't just achievable with static scripting. It does confirm the viability of AI agents as generators of personalized content with scalability. So the feedback from the Kaya and the Line communities has been instrumental in this, as it directly informed the design of our new social features and competitive systems. And what we are witnessing now is a new form of co-authorship. So the player is not just consuming content, but activating it too. The NPC is not just a narrative prop, but a behavioral model with continuity. And the development logic here is one of mutual induction between system and player. And that opens possibilities for live behavioral economies, and also shows where game logic can then be shaped in real time by cultural, social, and strategic feedback loops. So while this is what we have seen, but I know I've mentioned many times before, but even though that is what we prepared for this project to be, the fact that it took us so successfully in this way, and we're not just talking about in a monetary way, but just the fact that these mechanics were exploited and the potential still hasn't even been reached despite being as profound as it already has, that gives us a lot of hope, and honestly just starts to spark a few newer ideas in our head about how much more can we add, how much more. It's not just about diversification, it's about how much fluidity, right? How much naturalism can you imbue in these kind of things. And if you've already got the framework to feed these back into a Web3 ethos and a like economic infrastructure, that is cool. In a way, you're sort of simulating the real world. So it's actually just made things a lot more interesting for us. And that's why, even from that point of view, we're excited to see how much more we can do with it.
Oh, interesting. I was not aware you could manipulate the AI to that point within Love Terminal. I'm gonna try after this EMA. It's interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize that it was to the level of actual, like, manipulating AI agent. So now I gotta go try it myself. Maybe I'll try it while I'm asking you guys are answering questions. I don't know. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff. Like, you guys have built such an interesting game concept, stuff like that. Because personally, I've only played maybe like an hour of your game. Because over a few days, obviously not an hour straight, right? So yeah, because I do, in preparation for the AMA, I do try to play at least an hour or two of each game just to see a bit, just get a better idea of what you guys are playing, and so that I can actually ask questions that relate to, or like have a bit more understanding of each game. Yeah. So, okay,
Yeah.
so last but certainly not least, the last question goes, I mean, it's the same question to Joe. What's the most exciting or unexpected part of building in the mini Dapp ecosystem for merge pals?
Sure, thank you, Sean. So, I think one of the biggest surprises was how quickly the community took off for Merge Pals on its own. So, just weeks after launch, I think we saw unofficial fan groups popping up in places like Japan, Korea, and Brazil. And these were just not like casual chats. Players were actually creating their own guides. They were there are players translating content, sharing memes, and so on. And the truth, honestly, we were not ready for it. We did not have localization set up. We had no dedicated community leads for those regions. We did not even have our in-game content localized to those countries as well. Mush Pals was still mostly in English. So we expected to roll out regional support. Actually, we did roll out regional support much later, but the players did not wait, right? So this is one of the downside that we kind of miss. Players basically did not wait; they just started building their own ecosystem around the game. So moving forward, I think this really pushed us to move a lot more careful and faster. Made us realize the priority of language support. Bringing in local community leads and rethink how we can communicate both inside the game and outside the game. Yeah, it's a pretty clear lesson. If the game resonates, we can expect player to take ownership really quickly. Doesn't matter where you are, right? Not just in the Southeast Asia, but in places like Brazil as well.
Brazil, was it a country that you were expecting to get players from?
No, it wasn't.
It's a bit crazy, isn't
Definitely
it? Like
shocking.
how, I mean, where Line is majority focused in Asia, right? But then suddenly, oh, we have players in Brazil. We have players in, I don't know. I think someone had players in, where was it, Argentina as well, which is great. I mean, not in this thing, but previously, I'm like, huh, cool. I think South America might be the next alpha, maybe. I don't know. All right. So unfortunately, thank you, Joe, for the insightful stuff. Yeah. So unfortunately, it looks like we are out of time for the Q&A section. However, if you've got questions you didn't get to ask, please feel free to drop them in the broadcast tweet. Which is literally the one that you guys are, if you're watching over on X, it's something that you're watching in right now. And yeah, so that wraps up this AMA. Huge thanks to all our builders for the insight and to everyone who tuned in live. We'll likely be back in 2 weeks with more from the mini Dapp teams trying to push the space forward. Until then, please follow Kaya and all the mini Dapp projects, Dapp Portal, to stay in the loop. And yeah, we will see you all in the next one. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you
you,
for
guys.
having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
having us.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for everyone.
Bye.